welcome back to Animal Liberation TV. So, I'm doing the second part of the Huddersfield Four, a storybook tale of a trial. And these are really small, bite-sized little chunks here. So, the second part is Rafiq's poultry farm. Okay. Is how a small group of Rafiq's poultry farm is how a small group of buildings just off Dover Lane in Homfirth are referred to in the Yellow Pages. Mr. Mohammed Rafiq, the owner, refers to his premises as a farm, probably for legal reasons. In actual fact, the premises are used as a very basic chicken slaughterhouse. Young live chicks are brought here, enter a white building, and are slaughtered, skinned, and have their guts removed. The carcasses are then sold to various shops and restaurants around Kirklees, Huddersfield, Dewsbury area. The slaughterhouse operates what is known as halal method of killing. This is a religious rite in the Muslim faith. It means that birds are sacrificed for Allah, and to do so they must be fully conscious. At Rafiq's, this is achieved by shoving the live bird upside down into an inverted cone, so that its head and neck stick out at the bottom of the cone. The throat is then slit and the chicken bleeds to death. Rafiq's slaughterhouse has been operating since 1983. During this time, Mr. Rafiq has been prosecuted on 3 separate occasions by Kirklees Metropolitan Council. To most of the 45 charges brought against him under the Food and Hygiene and Animal Cruelty legislation, he pleaded guilty and was fined. Jesus Christ, you know. I mean, there's nothing racist, obviously, in any of this. The fact that it's halal is irrelevant, you know. You've seen all the other programs of all the other the other podcasts and uploads I've done, which has mentioned plenty of attacks of one sort or another on slaughterhouses of all sorts. So there's nothing racist. I mean, they're anti-racist, these lot. And that's the first part, actually, of the second part. The next episode will get quite interesting, the arrests. There is a newspaper cutting here about the animal cruelty bit or something. So I'm going to read that out. It's very small, so hopefully if I look underneath one. That's alright like that. Court told man had previous convictions. Birds found dead or dying. RSPCA inspectors found more than 100 birds dead or dying when they visited a halal poultry slaughterer's Huddersfield magistrates heard yesterday. Mr. Jeff Bell, prosecuting for Kirklees Council, said an environmental health officer visited Dover Lane Poultry Farm, Homfirth, on June 6th. He found 150 plastic crates, each containing up to a dozen live birds, stacked in columns up to 5 crates high. When he returned the following day, 70 of the crates were still stacked up with the birds inside. Oh my God. The officer contacted the RSPCA and Inspector Paul Stultgo went to the farm on June the 9th. Nobody was there and the crates had been emptied, but he had gone to look inside a wooden hut. Inside the hut, partitioned into 2 areas of 20 feet by 24 feet, were around 2,000 chickens awaiting slaughter. In that tiny space, what the hell? Drinking butts. They were walking over dead and dying birds, and the floor was covered from wall to wall, bird droppings up to 2 feet deep. Oh, man. These people that abuse animals, they live strange lifestyles, don't they? Like filth, and all the labs, it's all clinical, like the opposite end of it all. It's either filth with the farmers or like clinical with the labs. And it's always weird, you know, people that do things to animals, their lifestyles are so weird and unfathomable to me. Really, seriously, like, why? Who wants to work in somewhere like that or run a business like that? Why? What is up with you? In an adjacent shed, Inspector Stultgo found that only one of the 5 drinking butts was working, and birds were having to fight to use this. There was not enough light or ventilation in the shed. In total, 47 birds were found to be dead, and 60 had to be destroyed because of injury. Oh my God. Mr. Bell said the slaughtering rooms were examined by Kirklees official. Paint on the walls was flaking, window frames were rotten, and wall ceilings and floors were dirty. Oh my god, it's like something out of a horror movie. In the dispatch room, skinned chickens were in dusty trays on which were congealed blood and dirt. Farm owners Mohammed Rafiq pleaded guilty to permitting unnecessary pain and distress to birds awaiting slaughter, failing to provide adequate light and ventilation for birds, and failing to immediately slaughter birds suffering pain and distress. Similar offences. Rafiq, who had been convicted of similar offences in 1984 and 1987, also admitted 8 breaches of food hygiene regulations. He was fined £2,400 with 573 quid costs. What the fuck? Similar offences. Oh no. Mr. Andrew Sugden for Rafiq of Upper George Street, Springwood, Huddersfield, said his client was the only halal poultry slaughter in the Kirklees area. Rafiq had run a small family business for 9 years, serving the entire Kirklees Muslim community, and had never had any complaints about any of his birds. At the time in question, Rafiq had just returned to Huddersfield after spending 2 months in Pakistan. He had left the business with people who were not able to keep things as clean as they should have been. In addition, a shortage of fowl at the time meant that more had been delivered than usual, so more had been put in the huts for slaughter. Bullshit. That's sort of bullshit, isn't it? Obviously. However, since June, the 2 huts had been pulled down and the slaughter rooms improved. I don't know how you improve a slaughter room, but I suppose cleanliness and hygiene would be something that some people would argue about. Anyway, I mean, it kind of goes to highlight, doesn't it, animal abuse, the sort of the weirdness of it, whatever that weirdness is, the horrific nature of it. Just generally the whole thing being really unpleasant, and then you've got the extra added factors of this being a filthy hellhole. Just ridiculous how these things are going on. And I think he said he never had any complaints about his birds, but I reckon probably quite a lot of the community, the Muslim community around there, would have complained if they'd seen where their food was coming from and the treatment of the birds as well. Because a lot of part of the Muslim faith is actually very kind towards animals and preaches kindness towards animals, a lot of the Muslim faith. And what was the last point I was going to make there? Oh yeah, it highlights the difference with, say, how an animal abuser is treated in the British courts compared to animal rights activists and how they're treated in the court. It's strange, isn't it? The difference. And that comes down to one thing. It comes down to money. Okay, it comes down to the issue of money, and that's why the authorities don't like the ALF. So anyway, more exciting stuff to come from there. Next episode uploading soon. Take care.